Hey everyone, so in this video I'm just going to go over a little bit about the Blitz War. I'm going to show you guys some film from a war match against the faction Cheers. You'll get to see right now that we ended up finishing 4th. So we actually did pretty good in my opinion. Blitz War is always difficult because it's in the middle of a week, but with COVID-19 obviously a lot more people are home at the moment. So I guess it was a pretty smart idea to have something to keep us busy. I just wish my can drops were better so that I could save a bit more for cross-regional war. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more content and information. Now, as per usual, we're going to jump into war here and, win or lose. I'm going to kind of show you guys how I go about matches. Now, in this first match, I ended up making a pretty significant mistake. I think it was on the 3rd turn, or right now actually, I just hit auto and I left it there. And that ended up being my demise for this match because I let a Rov go off. I was unable to stun him now that I'm looking at the film. And overall, I wasn't able to kill him even after with using Priya. So I lost my first match, and I'm going to remember that when coming back around. This war was a little irritating because all 3 towers were 4 turns of walkers, and my Abraham is set up for 5 turns. That basically means that I was very ineffective at taking towers. So I was a little disappointed that there wasn't one tower because there's always, usually always one tower that is 5 turns that I can take. So unfortunately, I ended up losing a lot of towers just because my Abraham was too slow, but he's also not set up for this type of tower taking. So I'm hoping that moving forward, there will be the normal 5-turn towers also available. Now, as you'll see, my attack team is slightly different from the last cross-regional war. I took a comment off of YouTube from a player who suggested I switch out Cole for Diego, and I took that one step forward, and I also switched out Glenn for Xander. Now, the reasoning for that is because my Glenn has a stun weapon, but it has a huge bonus to AP when attacking, and that means that sometimes the AP from Gal on turn 2 will go to him instead of going to ideally Priya and Diego, or even Mercer and Diego, or Mercer and Priya. So it was just too much RNG, and although I like Glenn, I like the fact that his rush gives me bonus attack, bonus defense, and it also confuses the enemy. I like it more when I'm able to combo on the 2nd turn in order to basically kill everyone. Now, I could be more efficient with my attack team. I'm still kind of learning the ways with it, and there's a few things that I want to make adjustments with. Like my Xander's weapon has a huge bonus to AP when being attacked. It would be better to have some AP on attack, but I don't want to have a huge bonus to AP on attack, which is a little confusing. So I'm thinking about getting the 2nd Xander from the season store and leveling him, getting him up to a 6-star, but then not really changing his weapon too much except giving him more HP and defense, for example. This is probably the most unconventional team I've ever run in The Walking Dead Road to Survival. I'm not using a true leader, so a leader who has plus 40 or plus 50% attack and a huge bonus to AP when attacking. Instead, Mercer applies stun to the enemy for 1 turn, assuming that there are no resist mods, and then it's a huge bonus to AP when taking damage instead to all green and blue or strong and tough characters. So it doesn't always function the exact way that you want it to, but I've been finding this team to be pretty effective and interesting even, because whenever, say, I attack a Bide tune and I trigger Bide with my Priya has enough HP that the 3000 damage back won't kill her. Instead, it usually just ends up charging her AP again because of the huge bonus to AP when being attacked coming from Mercer. So that's actually really cool to me because it basically means I'm able to rush Priya back to back sometimes. One of the biggest drawbacks of my attack team right now is that without Cole, I don't have the same amount of control as I had before. I really liked that I was able to use his active skill to taunt the opponent while also cutting their attack in half. This was effective, especially against Priyas who had Rampage, for example. By cutting their attack in half, it means less damage on the initial target as well as any tunes hit by the rampage damage, because rampage is all about the attack function and the attack damage, of the tune. So by cutting it in half, it just means I have a better chance to actually survive. Cole also has a rush that's similar to his active skill, where when he rushes, he taunts and then also cuts the opponent's attack, and he pain splits. So it just offers more variety, really, and more control overall, because Cole was just such a staple in my attack team, and I think I'll still end up running him against some teams because he can definitely still be effective as an attacker. And although he is underrated in my opinion, he is one of the best tunes in my roster because of his control and the way he's able to control the enemy. That Cole also had a disarm weapon on him, which is why I had to choose Xander as my new commander, not just because of the AP problem, but because he has an active disarm skill. And there are lots of teams that have no windows available, so there's just stun weapons everywhere, impair weapons everywhere, absolute defense. You get like Cam Scar, whose weapon gives him a 20% chance when being attacked to gain 100% AP. There's just so many different ways that you now get stuck because of weapons that you can't disarm or you don't have a disarm tune over. So like even the new Payback Shiva, the 2000 bleed damage is significant mainly because your attack team doesn't have a ton of HP. Now, by removing my Glenn, I don't have a turn 2 bleed recovery. I could make one out of my Mercer because his active skill is right now at level 1, but because I run him on attack and on defense, I don't really want to raise his active skill so that he recovers penalties that early in the match. So I'm kind of holding back and just hoping that I don't have any bleed, burn, or too much maim damage on the first or second turn, so that on the third turn, if I do have any, Mercer is able to clean it all or cleanse it all, unless I have Angel's Trauma applied to me. And I will admit, in this war, not this specific one, but in the Blitz war, I actually triggered Trauma a few times because I left it on auto and I forgot that Mercer would recover those penalties. And the way that Trauma functions, so for every penalty that is recovered by a skill of some sort, so not naturally, it will apply trauma damage immediately to the tune that is recovered from it. And this can stack. So trauma itself, so if Angel rushed twice, that trauma damage could stack twice. If my character had bleed, burn, and maim, and Mercer recovered all 3 of those penalties, if Angel applied 3,000 trauma damage, that means I would take 9,000 flat damage. So that's a significant amount of damage, and no tune on attack could really survive that, in my opinion. Maybe a couple tunes on defense, but not many. Trauma is still kind of an untapped potential in this game. There's really not a huge use for it at the moment because we don't see a lot of cleanse all, and it's so difficult and circumstantial to actually trigger that it's almost annoying that so many tunes are coming out with trauma. For example, Ivanova, who just came out, I have not leveled up her rush because I don't like how circumstantial the trauma damage is. I feel like it's way too specific and the meta is not there yet. It'll be interesting to see if the meta does change so that her rush becomes useful. But currently, I just like Ivanova because her active skill is really effective by having a turn 2 focus and the attack up. Although it's a small attack up, it does offer a lot of flexibility when you attack. Let me know in the comment section below how you ended up doing in your Blitz war, if there were any changes that you ended up making to your attack team because of new tunes, new weapons, new mods, or just having to change it up because of the fluctuating meta and the different tunes that you're now seeing on these defensive teams. Like after cross-regional war, some players would have gotten enough S-class items to get a new S-class tune. So if you have anything new to share, feel free to let me know. I'm very interested to see what you guys have been up to. All this social distancing has been difficult. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get in another attack here, but shout out to Cheers. It was a fun match. Jitter, nice team. And if I warred against you, also good game to all of you guys. I hope you guys did well in Blitz. Thank you everyone for watching and listening to my video.